Welcome, dear one, to this quiet hour. You have arrived here to this moment, and that is enough. You do not need to earn your place in stills. You do not need to justify the act of parsing. You simply need to be here, breathing, present, unwilling to let the world hold its weight for a little while without your hands upon it.
Tonight, we practice the ancient art of letting go. Not the harsh, forced kind where you wrench something from your grip and call it freedom. No, this is the softer kind. The kind where you open your palms and feel something drift upward like a dandelion seed caught in a warm breeze. The kind where you watch what no longer serves you dissolve like morning fog touched by sunlight.
You have been carrying so much. I know you have. The worries about tomorrow that steal today's peace, the disappointments of yesterday that replay like a song stuck on repeat, the quiet heaviness that sits somewhere between your ribs and your breath and makes the simplest tasks feel like climbing stairs in thin air. All of it is real. All of it matters. And tonight, we honor it by setting it down.
Not because it is unworthy of your attention, but because you are worthy of rest. You have earned the stillness, you have earned the space, and the world will wait just for an hour while you give yourself the gift of release.
So settle in. Let your body find whatever shape feels most true right now. You might be sitting with your spine tall like a mountain, or reclining into easy softness of your bed, or lying flat on a mat, with the earth rising gently beneath you. Whatever you choose, let your weight surrender to the surface beneath you. Feel the pull of gravity as something kind tonight. Not a force that holds you down, but a gentle hand that says you do not have to hold yourself up.
Take a breath in through your nose, slow and deliberate, filling the space behind your collarbones, expanding your ribs outward like the belly of a deep ocean wave. Hold it for a moment at the top, feeling the fullness, and then release it through your mouth, letting it go with a soft sigh. That sigh is the first letting go of the evening. Notice how it feels. Notice the tiny relief that follows. Again, a slow inhale, drawing air down into the deepest part of your lungs, feeling your belly rise and your chest lift. Hold. And exhale, letting the breath pour out of you like warm honey flowing from a jar. Unhurried and golden. With each breath you take now, imagine you are exhaling one small thing you no longer need to carry. Let us begin by arriving fully in the body. So often our minds live in other rooms. In the future, where the meetings and the deadlines wait, or in the past, where old conversations replay in loops we cannot stop. Tonight we gently guide the mind back home to this body right here, right now. Start at the crown of your head. Imagine a warm liquid light resting there like sunlight pooled on still water. Feel it begin to trickle downward, washing over your scalp, smoothing out the tiny muscles you did not know were tight. It flows over your forehead, erasing the worry lines you have earned from too many hours of concentration, down past your temples where tension likes to hide in pockets of dull ache. Let that light dissolve every bit of it. Now it reaches your eyes. Feel the softness behind your eyelids, the muscles that have been scanning screens and reading words and searching for meaning. Let them go still. Let them do nothing. The light flows over your cheeks, warm and heavy like a summer rain sliding down a window pane, down to your jaw, where you hold so much unspoken conversation. Let the jaw soften, let the teeth part slightly, let the tongue rest on the floor of the mouth, heavy and occupied. The light continues its journey downward. It pools in your throat, a gentle warmth that tells the muscles of your neck they do not need to hold your head upright for anyone's benefit right now. Let it drip into your shoulders like warm oil, melting the knots that have knotted there for months, maybe years. Feel those shoulders drop. Feel the space between your earlobes and your shoulder tips widen, as if the distance itself is breathing.
Down through the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms. Let the light fill your hands until your fingers feel heavy and warm, each one individually releasing its grip. You have been gripping so tightly, did you know that? Your hands have been holding on to plans and people and outcomes, and right now, in this moment, there is nothing your hands need to hold.
The light continues through your chest, and here it slows down. This is where the weight lives, isn't it? This place just behind your sternum, where sadness and hope and longing all share the same small room. Let the light enter gently. Do not force it to illuminate anything. Just let it be present like a candle placed in a darkened room. The room does not need to become bright all at once. It only needs to know that light has arrived.
Down through the belly, where anxiety nests in the soft tissue just below your navel. Feel that light warm it, not with intensity but with patience. Down through the hips, the thighs, the knees. Down through the calves and the shins and the arches of the feet.
And finally out through the soles of your feet and into the earth below, where the light carries away everything it has gathered, every tension, every worry, every unnamed discomfort, down into the deep, dark, patient soil that knows exactly what to do with it. You are grounded. You are held. You are here.
Now, in this grounded and settled place, I invite you to close your eyes, if they are not already closed, and to begin a journey. You will not travel far. You will not need to move your body, but your imagination, that most faithful companion, will carry you somewhere beautiful.
Imagine that you are standing at the entrance of a forest. It is a forest you have known since childhood, though you may not remember it. The air here smells of pine needles and damp earth and something faintly sweet, like white flowers blooming just out of sight. The ground underneath your feet is soft with fallen leaves, amber and rust and deep burgundy, and they cushion each step with a quiet, satisfying crunch.
Above you, the canopy is thick, but not oppressive. Shafts of golden light filter through the gaps in the branches, creating pools of warmth on the forest floor. You can see dust motes dancing in those beams, tiny constellations of light that drift and swirl with each breath of wind. A bird calls somewhere in the distance, not an alarm but a greeting, as if the forest itself is welcoming you by name.
The sound of water reaches you then, faint and musical, like a flute played in another room. A stream, perhaps, winding through the trees somewhere just out of view. You follow it with your ears, even as your feet find the path. The sun grows clearer as you walk, not louder but more detailed, as if you are tuning into a frequency you had been missing.
You can hear the difference between the water rushing over smooth stones and the water sliding through narrower gaps between roots, creating tiny melodies that no composer could replicate.
You begin to walk. There is no urgency here, no destination you must reach by a certain hour. Your footsteps are slow and deliberate, each one a conversation with the earth. The path is wide enough for two people to walk side by side, but you walk alone tonight. And there is a richness in that solitude, a fullness that has nothing to do with loneliness. As you walk, you notice that there are objects in your hands.
You look down and see that you are carrying things. Bundles and bags and stones and scrolls, each one representing something you have been holding onto.
There is a smooth, dark stone in your left hand, and on it is etched the word worry. Not a specific worry, but all of them. The collection of what-ifs and maybes and but-whats that have lived rent-free in your mind for so long. You feel its weight, It is not enormous, but it is constant, and after months and years of carrying it, your arm has grown tired in ways you had stopped noticing. In your right hand, there is a bundle of dried leaves bound together with twine. Written on each leaf in faded ink is a memory, not the happy ones, not the ones that make you smile, but the ones that make you wince. The conversation you replayed 1,000 times, searching for the sentence that would have changed everything. The choice you made that you still question, even though no one else remembers it. The moment you said too much or too little. The moment you should have stayed but left. The moment you should have spoken but stayed silent. These are the leaves of regret, and they crinkle softly as you tighten your grip around them, as if the leaves themselves want to be released, but your fingers will not allow it.
Over your shoulder hangs a heavy bag, and inside it are stones of different sizes and shapes. Each one represents an expectation, yours and other people's. The expectation to be strong when you felt weak, the expectation to know the answer when you were still searching, the expectation to heal faster than grief allows.
The bag digs into your collarbone, and you have been walking with it so long that you have forgotten it is there, the way you forget the sound of traffic outside your window. And there, pressed against your chest like a shield, is something you cannot quite see, but can feel. It is the fear of letting go itself, the belief that if you set these burdens down, you will become careless, or forgetful, or vulnerable, that holding on is the only thing keeping you safe. This fear has whispered to you in a voice so familiar that you have mistaken it for your own.
As you walk deeper into the forest, the path opens into a clearing. The light here is different, softer, more diffused, as if the air itself is made of gold. In the center of the clearing stood a single tree, ancient and enormous, its trunk wide enough that 5 people could not join hands around it. Its bark is deeply grooved and silvered with age, and its branches reach upward and outwards like opidons.
This is the letting go tree. It has stood here for longer than you can imagine, and it has witnessed 1,000 acts of release. It knows what you are carrying because it has held the weight of others before you, and it asks nothing of you. It does not judge what you bring. It does not question why you waited so long. It simply stands and opens its arms and waits. Before you approach the tree, take a moment to look back at the path you have walked, not to revisit what lies behind, but to see how far you have come. You have traveled through years of effort, of worry, of holding on. You have been brave in ways that no one else fully understands. The courage it takes to carry what you carry, day after day, without complaint, without rest. That is a kind of heroism that deserves to be honored.
So honor it now. Place your hand over your heart and say quietly to yourself, I see what I have carried. I honor the strength it took. And now, with deep respect for everything I have endured, I choose to set some of it down.
Feel the warmth of your own hand against your chest. Feel the steady drum of your heartbeat beneath your palm. That rhythm has been keeping time for you through every difficult day, every sleepless night, every moment when you thought you could not go on and somehow did. Your heart has never stopped. It has never taken a day off. It has been faithful beyond measure, and it asks so little in return. The least you can do tonight is listen to it.
The least you can do is let its rhythm remind you that you are alive, and that aliveness itself is reason enough for grace.
And now turn toward the tree. Walk to it slowly. Feel the ground change beneath your feet, from soft leaves to cool moss thick and springy, like walking on a living carpet. The moss is the green of deep summer,
and it releases a faint, clean scent when you step on it. The smell of water and sunlight made into something you can breathe. Each step is a small act of kindness toward yourself, unhurried, intentional, present.
You arrive at the tree. Up close, its bark is textured with ancient patterns, spirals and lines that look like a map drawn by someone who understood that the journey and the destination are the same thing. You reach out and place your palm against it. The bark is warm, warmer than you expected, as if the tree holds its own sun inside its trunk.
Stand here for a moment, just breathing, letting the warmth transfer from the bark to your skin, from your skin to your muscles, from your muscles to your bones. You can feel the tree's life moving beneath its surface, a slow, ancient pulse, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. It reminds you that you, too, are alive in ways that go deeper than your thoughts. You are alive in your blood and your breath and the electrical sparks that dance along your nerves.
You are alive in the way your cells replace themselves, old, making way for new. The body's quiet revolution that happens while you sleep. And now, gently, without ceremony or drama, you begin to set things down so.
First, the stone of worry. You lift your left hand and look at it one last time. The etched word is still there, but it looks different now. Smaller somehow, less defined, as if the letters are beginning to blur. You kneel and place the stone at the base of the tree. The moment it touches the ground, you feel a release in your arm that surprises you. Your hand, freed of the weight, feels impossibly light.
You open and close your fingers, marveling at the emptiness, the space, the potential. The stone does not disappear. It settles into the earth at the tree's roots, and the roots seem to shift around it, incorporating it, breaking it down slowly over time into something new. The worry does not vanish, it transforms. It becomes part of the soil that feeds the tree, and the tree will make of it something beautiful that you may never see but can trust is growing.
Next, the bundle of dried leaves. You untie the twine and let the leaves fall open in your hands. One by one, you read the faded words, the conversation you wish you had handled differently, the opportunity you declined out of fear, the apology you delayed until it was too late. As you read each one, you feel the familiar sting. But tonight, there is something else alongside it, a tenderness, a recognition that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time.
You gather the leaves in both hands and hold them out toward the tree. A breeze rises, gentle, warm, impossibly timed, and lifts the leaves from your palms. They spin and flutter upward, caught in an updraft, and as they rise, they catch the golden light filtering through the branches. They become luminous, translucent, transformed from brittle memorials into something weightless and bright.
They rise above the canopy and disappear into the sky, scattered across the blue like confetti at a celebration of release. You watch them go. You feel a space they leave behind, not empty, but spacious. The space where regret lived is now room for peace to move in.
Then, the heavy bag over your shoulder. You shrug it off, and it lands at your feet with a thud that echoes through the clearing. The sound is satisfying in the way that setting down something heavy always is. You kneel and open the bag, and the stones of expectation tumble out onto the moss. You pick one up. It reads, "Be strong." You hold it and feel how smooth it is, polished by years of your fingers turning it over and over. You were strong. You are still strong.
But strength does not require you to carry everything alone. You line the stones at the base of the tree alongside the stone of worry. The tree receives them all without complaint. The roots shift again, and the earth opens gently, and the stones settle into place like the final pieces of a mosaic. The tree seems to stand a little taller, as if the weight you have given it is something it knows how to hold. Not as burden, but as wisdom. Now you are standing before the tree with empty hands,
and the weight that lived in your body for so long has begun to redistribute. Your shoulders are lower. Your breathing is easier. Your chest, which held that unseen shield, is open now, and the air that moves through you feels different, clearer, as if it is passing through a space that has been newly ventilated.
But there's one more thing. That shield of fear, the fear of letting go. You cannot pick it up because it is not an object. It is a feeling, a pattern, a way of being that has protected you for so long that it has become part of your identity. To release it feels like releasing a part of yourself. And that is the most frighteningly like you. Oh.
Think about how long this fear has been with you. It arrived, perhaps in childhood, when someone you trusted showed you that the world could be unkind, and you learned that the safest thing was to hold on tight. It grew in adolescence, when the stakes of social belonging felt like life and death, and the fear of losing what you had outweighed the joy of gaining something new. It deepened in adulthood, when every responsibility added another layer to the shield, and you began to believe that without it, you would crumble.
But you have not crumbled, not once. Through every loss and every disappointment, through every betrayal and every letdown, you have remained whole. Not unscathed, no one is unscathed, but whole. Your wholeness does not depend on the shield, it depends on something far more resilient, something that has been building inside you with every experience you have survived. Call it wisdom, call it grace.
Call it the stubborn, beautiful refusal to be diminished by what tries to diminish you. Stand here for a moment with that truth. Do not rush past it. Do not pretend it is easy. The tree does not ask you to be fearless. It asks only that you be willing.
So say to yourself, with whatever honesty you can muster, I am willing to release what I no longer need. I am willing to trust that I can be safe without carrying the weight of every possible outcome. I am willing to believe that letting go is not losing, it is making room.
Feel those words settle into you. They are not declarations shouted into a void. They are whispers offered to the deepest part of yourself, the part that knows, beneath all the fear and the worry, that you are more than the sum of what you carry.
Now imagine the shield dissolving, not breaking, not shattering, not torn away by force, simply dissolving. The way frost dissolves on a window when the morning sun touches it. The ice patterns that look so permanent, so intricate, so impossible to undo, they become transparent, become mist, become nothing but a memory of protection that you no longer need because the forest, the tree, the earth, and the light has shown you something more reliable than vigilance.
Absolutely proof.
They have shown you presence. And presence, you realize, is the safest place you have ever been. The air where the shield was is cool and sweet. The way the air feels after a summer storm has washed the dust from the sky. You breathe it in and feel it fill spaces you did not know were compressed. Behind your ribs, in the hollow of your throat, in the back of your mind where tension had built a home, all of it opening, all of it releasing, all of it becoming space.
As you stand in this newly open space within yourself, let your awareness expand outward beyond the clearing, beyond the forest, beyond the boundaries of what you can see. Imagine the light that fills this clearing extending in every direction, like the sun sending its rays to every corner of the world simultaneously.
Think of someone you love. Picture their face, the way their eyes crinkle when they laugh, the sound of their voice saying your name, the particular way they tilt their head when they are listening. Send them this light. Send them the message that says, you too can set down what you carry. You too are allowed to rest. You too are held by something larger than your worries.
Now think of someone you feel neutral about. The barista who made your coffee this morning. The person who sat across from you on the bus. Someone whose name you may never know, but whose humanity is as real and as precious as your own. Send them the same light, the same message. You are not alone in your carrying. None of us are.
And now if you are willing, think of someone who has caused you pain. This is the hardest part, not because you are weak, but because you are honest and humble to admit that letting go of resentment feels like letting someone off the hook. But here is the truth that the tree has whispered to you. Resentment is a rope you tie between yourself and the person who hurt you. And while you think you are holding them captive, you are the one who cannot move.
So with whatever generosity you can find, and even a drop is enough, send them the light too. Not forgiveness, if you're not ready for that word. Just light. Just the wish that they, too, might find their way to their own clearing, their own tree, their own act of release. You are not excusing what they did. You are freeing yourself from the obligation to carry it.
Finally, extend the light to all beings everywhere, every person on this earth right now, at this very moment, who is carrying something too heavy, the mother working 3 jobs and still finding the energy to read a bedtime story, the child navigating a world that does not make sense, who deserves someone to explain it gently, the elder sitting alone in a room full of memories, whose stories deserve to be heard one more time.
The stranger in a hospital bed, staring at a ceiling and wishing someone would hold their hand. The friend who smiles in public and cries in private because admitting pain feels like admitting defeat. Send them light. Not to fix their problems, but to remind them, across the distances of time and space and story, that they are not carrying alone.
Feel the expansion of that awareness. Feel how large you can become when you stop holding yourself in a tight fist of self-concern. The universe has room for your grief and your joy and your fear and your courage, all at once, all held in a kindness that does not require understanding. Now, let the awareness return to the clearing, return to the tree, return to your body, standing on the moss with your empty hands and your open chest and your breath that moves like a tide.
Notice how different you feel from when you began. Notice the absence where the heaviness was. Not a painful absence, not a void, but a clean, bright space that feels like the first room in a newly cleaned house. There's nothing in it yet, and that is exactly right. You do not need to fill it immediately. You do not need to rush to replace what you have released with something new. For now, the emptiness is the gift. There is a profound difference between emptiness and loss. Loss leaves a wound, a raw, tender place where something was torn away. Emptiness, the kind you feel now, is different. It is intentional. It is chosen. It is the space you create when you decide that your energy, your attention, your precious and finite life force is better spent on what remains than on what has been carried away. Emptiness is not the absence of something good. It is the presence of possibility.
Feel how your body has changed. The muscles along your spine are more relaxed, and your vertebrae feel like a stack of smooth stones, each one resting on the one below it, with perfect, effortless alignment. The breath moves through you with less resistance, like water flowing through a channel that has been cleared of debris. The mind, which was cluttered and restless at the beginning of this practice, has quieted.
Not silenced. Thoughts still arrive, as they always will, but they arrive without the urgency they carried before. They can wait. You are in no hurry. Place your hand against the tree one more time. Feel its warmth, its age, its patience. Say to it, silently or aloud, thank you. Thank you for holding what I could not. Thank you for being steady when I was not. Thank you for teaching me that release is not an ending but a transformation. The tree does not answer, but you feel something, a subtle shift in the air, a warmth that intensifies for just a moment, a sense of acknowledgement that passes between you and this ancient thing, like a handshake between old friends. You step back from the tree
and your feet press into the moss, and the moss gives back with every step, supporting you, returning you to the path.
As you stand in the clearing, let us turn to the breath. The breath has been with you through every moment of this practice, steady and faithful, asking nothing, giving everything. Now, we give it a shape, a rhythm, a small dance that will carry this feeling of release into the rest of your evening.
Breathe in for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel the air fill the spaces that have opened inside you, the places where worry lived, where regret nested, where fear had built its walls. Hold for a count of 2. 1, 2. Feel the stillness at the top of the breath, the pause between waves, the moment when the ocean draws back before it rises again. And now breathe out for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Feel the exhale carry away anything that still clings to the edges of your awareness, any residue of heaviness that did not dissolve in the clearing. Hold for a count of 2. 1, 2. The emptiness at the bottom of the breath, clean and spacious, like a room after the furniture has been moved out and the windows thrown open.
Again, in 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The chest expands, the ribs spread, the belly rises like the tide pulling in. You can feel the breath moving through every part of you now, up through the throat, filling the collarbone hollows, expanding the back of the rib cage where the lungs reach like fingers into the spaces between vertebrae. Hold for 2. 1, 2. The stillness, the fullness.
A held breath that is not suspended anxiety but intentional pause. The way a musician holds a note before letting it resolve. Out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slow and complete. Every last molecule of air leaving the lungs. Making room for the next breath to arrive fresh and new, untainted by yesterday's worries or tomorrow's fears. Hold for 2. 1, 2.
3 more cycles. Breathe in 4 counts. Hold 2 counts. Breathe out 6 counts. Hold 2 counts. Let the rhythm carry you. Let it become effortless. The way the heart beats without being asked. The way the tides rise and fall without intervention. Your body knows how to do this. It has always known. You are simply remembering what was never forgotten.
With each exhale, feel the clearing grow brighter. With each inhale, feel your body grow lighter. The tree watches, steady and eternal. And the light above you deepens into the rich gold of late afternoon, the hour when the world seems to pause between day and night and hold its breath in wonder. The shadows lengthen, the air cools, and somewhere in the forest, a bird begins its evening song, a melody of 4 notes, repeated with slight variations, as if the bird is improvising on a theme it knows by heart. One final breath, the deepest of all. In for 4, hold for 2. Out for 6, hold for 2. Feel it move through you like a wave of warm water, rinsing every cell, every thought, every memory. You are clean. You are clear. You are ready.
Now as the clearing settles into a gentle stillness and the breath finds its natural, easy rhythm, I offer you some words. Not commands, not instructions, but seeds. Let them plant themselves wherever they find fertile ground. I release what I cannot change, and I find peace in what remains. I am more than the weight I carry. I am the open space beneath it. Letting go does not mean I have failed. It means I have chosen to live.
I trust the earth to hold what I set down. I trust myself to rise. My past does not define my future. It informs it, but it does not own it. I am allowed to begin again as many times as it takes.
The space I create by releasing is filled with something better than what I lost. I do not need to carry everything to prove I care. Caring is lighter than weight. I forgive myself for holding on too long. Compassion begins within.
My hands are open. My heart is open. My life is open to what comes next. I am held by the earth beneath me, the sky above me, and the stillness within me. I am enough, exactly as I am, without the burdens I have mistaken for identity.
The clearing is quiet now. The tree stands patient and silver in the soft light. Its branches holding the sky like a cathedral ceiling held by prayer. You have been here for a while, and it is almost time to return to the world beyond the forest. But before you go, take one more look around.
Notice the ground where the stones were placed. See how the moss has already begun to grow over them, softening their edges, integrating them into the earth. Notice where the leaves fluttered upward into the light. The sky above the clearing is clear now, as if the act of release has cleared not just your heart, but the atmosphere itself. Notice the absence of the shield against your chest and the spaciousness where fear used to live. All of these changes are real.
They are not temporary, not performance. Nothing that ever vanish when you open your eyes. The tree keeps what you have given it, and the clearing remembers.
There is a particular quality of silence in this clearing that you'll want to carry with you. Not the silence of emptiness or loneliness, but the silence of completion. The silence that follows a long conversation between two people who understand each other perfectly. The silence after a child has fallen asleep, exhausted from play, breathing softly into the pillow.
It is a silence that does not need to be filled, because it is already full of presence, full of peace, full of everything that words are too clumsy to hold.
Place your hand over your heart one final time. Feel the steady beat beneath your palm. It has not changed. And that is the miracle. Through everything, through the carrying and the releasing, through the fear and the release of fear, through the heaviness and the lightness, your heart has continued its faithful work. It beats for you. It beats in you. It has never, not once, given up on you.
Say to yourself, I carry nothing now that I did not choose to carry, and I choose lightness as a final gesture of gratitude. Let us take one last walk through this sacred place. Feel the moss beneath your feet, cool and springy, each step cushioned by the living earth. The light is shifting now, turning amber and rose, as the imagined sun dips toward the imagined horizon.
Shadows stretch, long and graceful across the forest floor, and the air cools just enough to raise the fine hairs on your arms. A gentle reminder that you are alive, that you are here, that this body is the vessel through which all beauty reaches you.
You pass wildflowers growing in a cluster near the path's edge, violet and gold and the pale blue of a winter sky. Each one is perfectly imperfect, some with petals slightly curled, others standing straight and proud. They do not compete with each other, they simply bloom in their own time, in their own way, and the forest is richer for their presence. You too are blooming, in your own time, in your own way.
A soft wind moves through the trees, and the leaves rustle with a sound like distant applause, or perhaps like a lullaby sung in a language older than words. The wind carries the scent of pine and something floral, something green and alive, and you breathe it in as if it were medicine, because it is. The earth has always been offering medicine to those willing to stop and breathe.
At the edge of the clearing, just before the path narrows back into the deeper forest, you pause. You turn and look back one more time at the tree. It stands there, as it has always stood,
as it will always stand, holding the gifts you have given it with the same quiet dignity with which it holds everything. And you feel a surge of gratitude, not the polite, practiced kind, but the raw, surprising kind that catches you off guard and brings tears to the edge of your eyes.
Gratitude for this body that carries you through life with more grace than you usually acknowledge. Gratitude for this mind that, despite its tendency toward worry, is capable of extraordinary imagination and tenderness. Gratitude for the heart that has been broken and has healed and has broken again and has healed again, each time with a little more space for love and a little less room for fear.
My gratitude for this moment is practice this act of choosing yourself, not selfishly, not at the expense of others, but in the way that a tree chooses to grow toward light. Not because it is selfish, but because it is its nature, and its nature is beautiful, and the world is better for it.
And gratitude for the tree, for the forest, for the clearing, for the moss and the wildflowers and the golden light, for the breath that carried you here and the breath that will carry you home, for the simple, profound gift of an hour spent in stillness, of a heart that chose to open instead of close, of a mind that chose to imagine a better place and found it was real.
Gratitude, too, for the act of letting go itself. It is not weakness. It is the bravest thing you can do, to look at something you have carried for years and say with quiet authority, I no longer need you. To open the hand that has been clenched for so long that you forgot it could be open. That is not surrender. That is liberation. And you have earned it.
Now, gently, slowly, like someone surfacing from a warm bath, buying to return. Feel the room around you, the chair or the bag beneath you, the temperature of the air on your skin, the distant sounds of the world outside your window. There is no rush. The transition from the forest to this room is not a rickshaw but a continuum. The PC found in the clearing has not been left behind.
It travels with you, folded gently into the spaces you created tonight. Carried in the tissues of your body like a warmth that will not fade until morning.
Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, feel the life that moves through your extremities, the electricity of being a living body on a living earth. Roll your shoulders once gently and notice the difference, how they move more freely now, how the space between them has widened, how the breath can travel down the back of your neck without meeting the wall of tension that was there before. Take a deep breath in, the deepest one of the night, and as you exhale, open your eyes.
The world looks the same as it did when you began, and that is as it should be. The lamp still glows in its corner, the shadows still fall at the same angle. The clock still marks the hours with the same patient, mechanical precision. But you are different. Lighter, more spacious, more open to the possibility that not everything needs to be held. Not everything needs to be solved. Not everything needs to be carried.
Some things can simply be acknowledged, honored, and released. Tonight, as you move through the rest of your evening and into sleep, carry this lightness with you. Let it be the last thing you feel before sleep takes you. That warm, spacious, unburdened feeling of a body at rest, and a heart that has been gently, kindly emptied of everything it no longer needs.
You are free, not because the world has changed, but because you have. And that, dear one,
is the most powerful kind of freedom there is.
As you rest here in the soft darkness behind your closed eyes, remember that this clearing exists within you now. You do not need to be in a forest to find it. You do not need special conditions or perfect quiet. The clearing is wherever you choose to visit it, and the tree is always there, patient and eternal, holding what you give it until it becomes something beautiful.
Whenever the weight returns, and it will, because you are human and life is relentless, you know what to do. You walk to the tree, you open your hands, you place one thing, then another, at its roots. You do not need to empty yourself all at once. Even one stone set down is a victory. Even one leaf released is progress.
The art of letting go is not a single grand gesture, but a daily practice, a quiet habit, a gentle conversation between you and the parts of yourself that are ready to be free. Sleep well. You have earned this rest. The tree will be here when you need it again, and so will the forest, and the clearing and the golden light that filters through the branches like a benediction, spoken in a language older than words. You are held, you are safe, you are light.